Hello, and welcome to another episode of Snail Mail with Smokey. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you're at. Today's episode is a very special episode because we have a special guest on Snail Mail with Smokey. Please welcome Mrs. Smokey. Like I said, this is a very special episode of Snail Mail with Smokey. Welcome to Snail Mail with Smokey, and Mrs. Smokey presents Snail Mail with Smokey's Fun with Stamps. Welcome, Mrs. Smokey. Now, I know that you're not a stamp collector, but have you ever thought about collecting stamps?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have. As often, it's a topic of conversation in our home.
Well, as true as that is, have you ever thought that if you did collect stamps, what kind of stamps you might want to collect?
Well, Snail Mail with Smokey, I enjoy Disney villains. Can you find any stamps with them on them?
Why, you're in luck, because I just happen to have a stack of stamps from that very topic of Disney villains.
How surprising!
And yet unexpected. I'd like to share with you 10 stamps issued by the United States Postal Service. Take a look at these 10 stamps.
Ooh.
Now,
that's nice.
these stamps are from a series, remarkably enough, entitled Disney Villains. They were issued on July 15th, 2017. There are 10 total stamps in the collection. And let's run through each stamp right now.
Okay, let's.
The first stamp is of the Queen from...
That's actually the evil queen from Snow White.
Thank you, Mrs. Smokey.
You're welcome.
The second stamp is...
I forget his name. He's that crazy fox from... What's that guy with the long... Oh, Pinocchio. He turns all them... Oh, he gets turned into a donkey, don't he?
Yes, he does.
He does. That's so scary.
That's also Scott number 5214. Scott number 5215 is...
Oh, what is her name? She's the evil stepmother from Cinderella. She has a name, but I don't remember it. Oh, that's right. Lady Tremaine.
That's correct. Scott number 5216 is...
Oh, she's playing with the Queen of Hearts is what she is.
That's correct. Scott number 5217.
Arr, it's Captain Hook.
Scott number 5218.
Maleficent. My favorite. From Sleeping Beauty.
Interesting and creepy.
Very.
Scott number 5219.
That's Cruella de Vil. Don't say her name wrong.
Scott number 5220.
Ursula.
Scott number 5221.
Gaston.
You know,
he's a creep.
Nobody sings like Gaston. Nobody dances like Gaston.
That's true. That's what they say.
That is true. And finally, Scott number 5222.
Scar, my second favorite.
Do you know what movie he's from?
The Lion King.
No, Hercules.
Is that right? That's not true. Not that stamp.
Scar is in Hercules.
He is, but he's not from Hercules.
But he's in the...
He's dead in that one.
But he's in the movie Hercules.
He is.
Yes. And if you ask me, he does a better job of acting in Hercules than he does in The Lion King.
It's because he's a throw rug.
That's true. Now, after seeing all these wonderful Disney stamps, I'm sure you have lots of questions.
I do. As a matter of fact, you answered 4 of them already. So we're going to wing it. Okay. So, my first question is, there's no value on those. How do we know how much they're worth?
What'd you do, Mrs. Smokey? Did you wake up and drink a big glass of good question juice?
As a matter of fact, I did.
How very astute of you to notice that these particular stamps have no face value, as they are a forever stamp, which means that as long as the U.S. Postal Service is issuing stamps, you can use these stamps for first-class postage. Having said that, in 2017, when these stamps were issued, they would cost you 49 cents a piece. Today's first-class rate for a forever stamp, however, is 68 cents.
Wow,
Indeed,
that's different.
it is. What other questions do you have?
Well, are these rare? Are they hard to find or expensive?
Well, that's also another good question. You must have had a side of extra good question juice with your breakfast this morning.
Actually, I didn't. I was full.
These stamps are not rare and they are not hard to find. As a matter of fact, about 6 million of them were printed back in 2017. You can find these stamps, a complete set of all 10 stamps used, on internet stamp sites for around $3 a set. If you want to find mint never hinged stamps, those will run you $10 plus per set of stamps. And if you want the full sheet of 20 stamps, that's going to run you $20 or higher on most internet stamp sites.
Wow, that's a lot of information you just threw at me. Part of that stood out, and some of you probably already know, what does mint not hinged mean?
Well, that's a great question, Mrs. Smokey. Mint not hinged means that the stamp has never been canceled by the post office or been used postally through any postal system, and it has also not had a hinge applied to the back of the stamp in order to store it in an album or stockbook.
Wow, he's smart. Well, the next question in my mind is, you know so much about these stamps, like everything it seems. Do you know what they measure?
As a matter of fact, I do. They measure 32 by 41 millimeters.
Wow. Okay. Being American, I don't really know how big that is. So, Snail Mail with Smokey, how are these printed?
Well, these particular stamps were printed by using a process called offset lithography.
Can you say that twice?
Offset lithography, offset lithography.
Nice. Okay, so how many are there again?
10.
10 in the set,
Yes,
but like 6 million everywhere.
that's correct.
Okay, we got that down. Well, I think I've asked all my questions.
Thank you for being here. Have you had a fun and exciting time?
It's been a pleasure.
Have you learned a lot about the great hobby of philately?
I have learned more than I ever thought I could.
Well, that's it for this episode of Snail Mail with Smokey. Thank you so much for watching. A couple of housekeeping items before we wrap things up. If you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, give me a like. Also, leave me a comment and hit the bell icon so you can be notified when future episodes of Snail Mail with Smokey are available to watch right here on YouTube. A huge thank you to my wife, Mrs. Smokey. We had a lot of fun doing this. As a matter of fact, this was her idea. She is actually the smartest woman that I've ever met in the world. But this was her idea, and she's going to tell you how she thought of it.
All joking aside, this was a blast. This is in reference to a television show, The Large Explosive Hypothesis. For those of you who know. And I just played it dumb like the female character who does this as well in the show. So I had a blast. It was fun. Until next time, have a great day.
Bye-bye. Today's episode, I have a special guest, Mrs. Smokey.
You know I'm going to make you laugh.
But have you ever thought about collecting stamps?
As a matter of fact, I have. Because very often, that's a topic of conversation in our house. How are they printed? Hold on. Back up. Start again. The show. So I had a blast. It was fun. And
until next time, have a great day.
okay. Until next time, have a great day.
Bye-bye.